The clearance of Brian Mundubile to contest the 2026 presidential election is politically significant, not because he suddenly becomes the outright favorite, but because it changes the structure of the opposition race against Hakainde Hichilema, HH. You're welcome to the deep dive on streetwise politics. The biggest impact is this. HH no longer faces a fragmented opposition in total confusion after the death and legal disqualification crisis around Edgar Lungu. Now there is at least a recognizable anti-UPND candidate with a legal platform and symbolic continuity from the PF/TONS political machinery. Why Mundubile being cleared matters. Before this development, Zambia's opposition looked close to collapse. Edgar Lungu was out of the picture. PF factions were fighting each other. TONS alliance risked missing ballot access entirely. There was uncertainty over whether Mundubile would legally appear on the ballot. Once Mundubile successfully filed his nomination under the NRPUP route after the FDD fallout, the opposition avoided a total organizational disaster. That means 1. HH now faces a real election, not merely a symbolic one. UPND had been benefiting from opposition fragmentation. A divided opposition usually helps incumbents because votes split, campaign structures weaken, donor and business confidence dries up, and supporters become demoralized. Mundubile's clearance partially reverses that dynamic. Even if he is not individually stronger than HH, he gives PF/TONS supporters a rallying point, a ballot identity, and a successor figure after Lungu. That alone can energize dormant opposition voters. But is Mundubile actually dangerous to HH? This is where the analysis becomes more nuanced. HH still starts as the favorite. Several structural advantages remain with HH and UPND, HH strengths, why it matters, incumbency state visibility and institutional advantage, economic stabilization narrative, IMF program, debt restructuring, macroeconomic recovery messaging, urban middle-class support, Lusaka and Copperbelt professionals still lean, UPND international legitimacy. Western donors and investors strongly prefer continuity opposition fragmentation. Mundubile, Makebi Zulu, Fred Memembe, Harry Kalaba all compete for anti-HH votes. The opposition remains fragmented despite Mundubile's emergence. The real danger to HH is emotional politics. The key variable is not Mundubile himself, it is the political afterlife of Edgar Lungu. Mundubile appears to be positioning himself as the continuity candidate of PF-era nationalism, protector of Lungu's political legacy, and the vessel for anti-UPND anger. The alliance with Makebi Zulu is especially important here. Why? Because Makebi brings emotional credibility among hardcore PF loyalists, legal/intellectual legitimacy, and visibility from the Lungu burial/legal battles. That combination matters in Zambian politics, where symbolism and loyalty networks are powerful. The election may become a referendum on HH's style of rule. This is the strategic threat. HH's strongest card in 2021 was democracy, freedoms, economic rescue, and ending PF excesses, but incumbency changes perception. The opposition is trying to frame HH as increasingly centralized, intolerant toward dissent, selective in anti-corruption enforcement, and overly aligned with international financial institutions. If Mundubile successfully unites PF grievance politics with economic frustration, HH could face erosion among unemployed youth, peri-urban voters, and lower-income Copperbelt communities. This is exactly why the opposition needed a ballot-certified candidate quickly. However, Mundubile also has major weaknesses. This is critical. 1. He lacks Lungu's populist charisma. Edgar Lungu connected emotionally with ordinary voters in a way Mundubile does not currently. Mundubile is viewed more as technocratic, legalistic, parliamentary elite that can limit mass mobilization. 2. PF structures are badly damaged. The PF ecosystem is no longer unified. There are TONS factions, Pamodzi factions, Makebi supporters, Miles Sampa remnants, independent PF-aligned actors. Some structures are still in court battles. That weakens ground mobilization. 3. HH has learned from 2021. UPND today is not the same opposition party from years ago. HH now controls patronage networks, government communication, constituency development resources, diplomatic relationships, and improved electoral organization. That gives him significant resilience. The biggest scenario, HH fears not necessarily losing outright, but being forced into a runoff. Zambia uses a 2-round presidential system. If Mundubile can consolidate PF loyalists, regain Copperbelt traction, mobilize Northern/Luapula vote blocks, and reduce HH's urban margins, then HH could fall below 50% in the first round. A runoff would completely change the psychology of the election, because then all opposition forces could unite behind one anti-HH platform, government nervousness increases, and momentum shifts rapidly. That is the strategic opening Mundubile creates. What HH will likely do now? Expect HH and UPND to pivot toward economic messaging, emphasizing debt restructuring, Kwacha stability, infrastructure, energy recovery, investment flows. Opposition competence attacks, portraying Mundubile as PF recycled leadership tied to past governance failures and unable to unite his own coalition. Regional balancing. UPND will work aggressively to avoid losing Copperbelt and Northern Province margins. Moderate voter targeting. HH will try to appear as the stability candidate versus opposition chaos. My point is, Mundubile being cleared changes the election from can the opposition even organize itself to can the opposition rebuild enough emotional and regional momentum to seriously threaten HH? Right now, HH remains the favorite, but the race is no longer politically comfortable. The real significance is psychological. Opposition supporters now believe they still have a vehicle. PF networks have something to organize around. And anti-UPND sentiment has a recognizable face. If Mundubile successfully transforms sympathy for Lungu into a disciplined coalition campaign, the election becomes competitive. If opposition infighting continues, HH likely wins comfortably in round 1.
5 years kankala tusenzera abantu and tuzashita continue. Tina 3 agenda with the support of our party president and the government president, Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, is making sure kuti empowerment ya Africa bantu baso, so that umpawu wereko pansi. We want to kick out poverty, and we have got a clear program to ensure that our women are empowered, our youths are empowered, our elderly men ozipereka luchitalini nyansi na muntu aliyense olemera osauka opunzira osapunzira ana chipani ali echipani wonse wantu making sure kuti na wasupporta na mwe walengera mu and with the love kuchokera kuli President Hakainde Hichilema support yama finances kuera ku constituency through CDF and other national resources, we will do wonders. We will ensure that ma road itakonza mukombo ntufuna lini ma road yo grade that zachita ma pavers. We have 3 key markets in Chipata Center: Saturday Market, Kaumbwe Market, Magazine Market, and Chisitu Market. The 4th one is Chisitu Market. We will make sure that the standard of these markets are actually done to the greater perfection of our people. We want our women to trade in greater areas. We want our bantuas wakonkala miseo ya bwino mayusi baloweko machita. Government ya President Hakainde Hichilema yankala yulemba bantu mu health, muchicha, mosiana siana. And ne kunkala member of parliament ali mu youth. Is making sure kuti wachinyamata walako.
The English say you can resist an advancing army, but you can't stop an idea whose time has come. And that idea is opposition unity. May I take this opportunity to invite the fellow leaders? We stand and show that sign of unity. is opposition unity. One Zambia. We are very serious about opposition unity, and we are not stopping at anything. What motivates us? We have analyzed, we've realized that this country is divided. It's divided across regions, divided across tribes. We've gone back to the drawing board. We want to start afresh. We want to start from the beginning. And starting afresh, you can only start with the team that we have here. Today, there has never been a time that Zambians have been so overly conscious about their ethnicity. Today, it's not enough to tell somebody your name. They'll ask you what tribe you are. And we are saying abash to tribalism. Tribalism, regionalism, we are starting a journey. We are starting a journey where we will bury tribalism. We are starting a journey where we will bury regionalism. Because we simply want to be Zambians. That's what we have been, and that's what it will be. Bamayona batata, what you are seeing here, if we have done our part. You made a call and say, come together as the opposition. You reached out through the church. You reached out through traditional leaders. You went on radio. You went on social media. We sat back with my brothers and sisters here. We said it's not about us. It's about the many civil servants who are suffering today. The many youths who have no jobs. The people that are dying in hospitals because of lack of medicine. It's about the farmers who supplied their produce and are not paid. It's about the weakest in society. Nakulu Mutinta Pamakasa. We have agreed. It's not about us. It's about the Zambian people. The point here is, if we have done our part, we have delivered our part of the bargain. What remains is for you, the people of Zambia. We are saying, come August 18th. August 18th is the day that the Zambians must draw the line and put behind the many challenges that have endured the past few years. It's your decision, the Zambian people. I know many of our candidates are here. You are going out to the constituencies. Go and deliver a message of hope. A decision has been made. And the decision is to remove the UPND from power. We are removing them not out of hate. We are removing them because, one, they have failed the people of Zambia. They have failed to fight corruption. They have failed to improve the living standards of the Zambian people. They have decided to sell your power, your electricity to the neighbor when you're suffering with load shedding. They have decided to close Indeni and other installations so that fuel is now expensive. So we are judging them fairly. As a matter of fact, we are doing them a favor. We are doing them a favor. Panto apachili Hakainde Hichilema valingo mwana muno no asenda moto kataishwa kweisha. Ero nomba moto kayambo kula butuka. Yafile. So kula pepafi atipunge komunichimo bakule ngakufuka. So So tuishile pano mukupusisha Hakainde Hichilema. Ifwe na tukwata manifesto tuleti mwemisepela mweva lefu kula gold mwasanga gold yole saa mipela tatuwa kesene mfuti shako milasa iyo ifwe mfuti shikala sonta kubalwani walawale ifo kumifulunganya tatuwa kasendio muntule itati ni investor no kumwe ya mkwimba pali pa Black Mountain investor ule yumfuati na kwa tamaka kumupela Greenfield mine ambo kwimba PDF ma dump site vya misepela shesu One Zambia, one nation. Civil servant bonse muri bena Zambia takwakabe database ikaba mu ifungu enyo walesala kofie obo muntu eshive tuka making sure ngana usta qualify ufuile wa ingile nchito yego fine iwe civil servant epo ambo kulila kale wala ambo kulilo kuti i housing allowance babikile ko 10 years ago bakupela 500 inganda ni 6,000 evantu twimine nokutila twala yafirisha fyonse fitulela nda tetifibombe kwa bula opposition unity but we are saying if we not to stay unite whichever civil servant are you there to do your part when misepela are you there to do your part mine are you there to do your part Anamayo are you there to do your part
Thank you so much.